What's going on? So in this video today, we will be watching a video that's just released by CNBC about a digital nomad in Tbilisi, Georgia, who makes about $275,000. Get that right, $275,000. You want to listen to how he did it, what he's doing, how he lives his life as a digital nomad in Tbilisi, Georgia, and I hope it inspires you to make some moves and take some steps. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
As soon as I saw this place, I fell in love. My life in Tbilisi is better because I'm able to live a higher quality of life for a fraction of the cost. So this allows me to travel more, spend less time working, because if I was living in the United States, I would have to be working a lot more.
Now, this is the reality of people living abroad as digital nomads and people living in the United States. You realize that once you start traveling, you start spending less money, you have more time for work and more time to generally just enjoy your life. And that is one of the beauties of being a digital nomad that I really enjoy. And I know that this young man here enjoys as well.
And now I'm basically semi-retired.
So this guy left the United States as a 33-year-old and now makes $275,000 a year, guys. That is mind-blowing. If you know anyone who works remotely, they will tell you that it's really hard to make any money online. I mean, either as a business owner or as a freelancer. Now this guy's making $275 a year. Now I'm just very interested to know what exactly he does for a living.
My name's Mike Swagunsky. I'm a 33-year-old from Wildwood, Missouri, and I'm a nomadic entrepreneur that's based in Tbilisi, Georgia. This year, I'm estimated to make around $275,000. Wow. The biggest crossroads moment in my life was my senior year of university. About a month before my graduation, my mom tragically passed away from breast cancer. It showed me that you should follow what you want to do, and our time is limited on this planet. So
now this is so very true, because as someone who's lost a parent tragically, I've just seen life very differently now. Now I spend every moment that I have with utmost care, taking care of myself and just enjoying life to the fullest. And I'm very sure that this guy has realized that as much as he could. So that's why he's able to live life, the way he is now, just enjoying his life, traveling to different places and just making memories that will last a lifetime.
I eventually decided to follow my dreams of traveling and book a one-way ticket to Europe. I do identify as a digital nomad, but I think more specifically, I identify as a nomadic entrepreneur. A nomadic entrepreneur is somebody who's able to build a business that's location independent, meaning they can live anywhere in the world and work from their laptop.
Now, what he means by that is making a distinction between a digital nomad and a nomadic entrepreneur. As a digital nomad, you either have a remote 9-to-5, or maybe you are a freelancer, or maybe you teach English online, or you do any of those things that people do. But as a nomadic entrepreneur, you actually have your own business. You have a company that you run. You are the head of the company. You own the company, and you are your employees. So right now, he does all of his business online, and he can travel wherever he wants. So that's the distinction between being a digital nomad and being a nomadic entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur, but you're able to run your business from anywhere in the world.
I chose Tbilisi to be my home base. After coming here for 1 month, I essentially got trapped here with the pandemic. The borders had closed, and luckily I fell in love with this country, so decided to stay here long term. Currently, I have 6 different sources of income. A lot of those are coming from my book, coming from a software business that I acquired, and coming from services for the Global Career brand.
Now, he has 6 sources of income. I'm not surprised at all that his income is $275,000. 6 sources of income. I mean, with 6 sources of income, you can pretty much live anywhere in the world. But living in Georgia, like the Balkans, for example, where I am in Tirana, very similar to Georgia, and you can get things for cheap, accommodation, food, pretty much everything at a fraction of what you would get them for in the United States. So right now, this guy is balling. He's a baller right now. So one thing that this guy is doing that is really good. They say that during the gold rush, you don't want to dig for the gold, you want to sell the shovels. Now that a lot of people are trying to become a digital nomad, I think one of the very big things that will, be like big businesses for people is when you actually provide services to help people become digital nomad, to help them work remotely. And that is one of the industries that this guy is really tapping into. So if that's something you're looking at, if you are a software developer, you can make a software, make just anything for people looking to work remotely. I think you're gonna make a big buck.
These services are helping others with inspiring them to create a different journey or start their own global careers. So essentially, I'm helping other people become digital nomads. There's a lot of tax benefits to being a digital nomad. Essentially, if you're spending more than 330 days outside of the United States, you don't have to pay.
So right now, this guy makes $275,000, and 112,000 of that is not taxed, and only 163,000 is getting taxed right now. That's one of the tax benefits of living abroad or living for a long period of time in another country other than the United States. Now, I'm not a tax professional, but this is quite smart.
A tax income up to $112,000.
Now, Georgia has a 1% tax rate for individual small business owners like Mike. So if you're a one-person business owner, you have to pay just 1% of tax on your gross income. That is beautiful.
Running multiple businesses from Georgia is definitely a lot easier than if I was based in the US, and it mainly just comes down to the cost. If I were trying to replicate my same infrastructure in the United States, it would probably be around 10 times more expensive. Hey everyone, welcome to my home in the center of Tbilisi, Georgia. So I'm currently living in the Bara neighborhood, which is a central area.
This is one thing I love about Europe and, all of this ancient buildings, ancient architecture with cobblestone streets. You can just feel a vibe, feel this very calm vibe around this area that this guy lives in. I mean, there's no way you wouldn't be productive. You wouldn't want to get work done, with all of these things around you and paying the bare minimum for accommodation. Let's see.
Of Tbilisi. It's a wonderful place because it's really close to some of the best coffee shops, restaurants, and other things that are happening in the city. If I was based in the US, I would most likely be living in one of the 10 big cities. These cities are substantially more expensive than a big city like Tbilisi. Currently living in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and 2-story apartment that has a beautiful Italian garden. It costs only $600 a month.
Okay, let's talk about that. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,500 square feet, only paying $600. Now, for reference, this apartment that I'm in Toronto, I'm paying $600 for a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm probably paying too much for this apartment, but that's not the point. The point is that you can live in such luxury setting while paying just $600. I couldn't even pay $600 for the basement I was living in DC. So that's really good. So that's one of the benefits of living in all this low income countries where your dollar amount goes really far. And if you're looking at traveling, going somewhere, the Balkans is a great place to start from because your money goes very far. A lot of people think you have to go to Southeast Asia, but the Balkans, think about that.
And is around 2,500 square feet. It was a little difficult finding this apartment. I had to view hundreds of different listings, and I ended up actually viewing around 10 different apartments. But as soon as I saw this place, I fell in love.
I would too. So he spends $30 a month on transportation. $30. Think about that for a second. $30.
One of the things that's great about Georgia and Tbilisi is it's really easy to get around the city. I'm normally traveling by an Uber alternative called Bolt, but there is a really great public transportation system here. You can get pretty much anywhere in the city for just a few dollars.
So this guy has been to over 100 countries and decided to settle down in Georgia. So there has to be something there, really, for him to decide that Georgia is the place to settle down. So if you want to take a cue from this video, let it be this. Sometimes the most talked about countries are not the best countries to live in. They're just good for certain reasons. So he spends $30 per month on transportation and $350 per month on travel. That's not a lot. That's nothing compared to what he makes in a month.
Having a private chef actually saves me a lot of money. It's not super expensive. It costs around $250 for her to come 6 days a week and prepare my food. This in return saves me a lot of time and money and actually has me eating healthier.
Now that's a very smart move. If I was making, I don't need to make $275,000 a year to hire a private chef. The cost to benefit ratio is really high. It's really low because you're spending that much on groceries and all that on your private chef, and you're getting all of that time that you would otherwise, be spent cooking, and you're also eating healthier. So it's a very good cost to benefit. So I think that's a very smart move, really smart move.
One of the great things about Georgia is whether you're eating out at a restaurant or cooking at home, food prices are extremely low. So on an average, I spend under $500 a month on all my food budget.
So $30 on transportation, $390, so $350 on travel, and under $500 per month on food. So that's still less than $1,000 that is spent on everything else outside of his accommodation. With $600 accommodation, you can do the math.
One of the things I love about being a nomadic entrepreneur is every day looks a little different. My typical structure is wake up in the morning, come down, have some coffee, enjoy reading a book, and then normally after that I'll do a little bit of meditation and then head to my gym where I'll get a nice workout in. I usually work from my home because I find it to be the most productive place. But a few times a week I like to head off to coffee shops or cafes. And
yeah, I mean, sometimes I head out to coffee shops, but I hardly do it, maybe a few times a month. I find that working indoors inside my apartment is the most productive I can be. If I need to get a bite to eat, I just walk over to the kitchen area, get something to eat. If I need to take a nap, get into my room and take a nap, and everything is just within walking distance.
And sometimes even co-working places where I'll meet up with some of my friends. They have a saying here that a guest is a gift from God, and that really holds true because Georgians are very welcoming to foreigners. I think Americans visiting Tbilisi for the first time would be most shocked by the day-to-day life.
I just love the way that the house is set up. It's so clean, so neat. You know, something that you would pay probably extra for if you're getting something like that in the United States, I think better designs, you pay more for that. I don't know, but look at that.
Essentially, Georgians are a lot more relaxed. A lot of places don't even open till 10 a.m. And in short, Georgians are working to live and not living to work. About once a month or twice a month, I was hosting entrepreneurial meetups. So this way I could meet with like-minded people that were also going to be really interested in growing their businesses and kind of have the same perspective on life.
So it teaches others on how to become digital nomads, how to grow their businesses, which is really good because obviously he's doing so well for himself. He has a software business, he has a lifestyle business as well. So I think this guy is really doing everything by the book. Let's see if he has anything else to say.
I definitely don't think living abroad is for everyone. There's going to be a lot of different variables that you won't be able to replicate from your old life of living in the United States. One of the things I miss about living in the United States is, of course, I miss my friends and family. To help improve this, I'm getting on calls pretty much every 2 weeks with my brother and my dad.
Playing some music today, so with a guitarist.
What were you playing?
My originals we were rehearsing.
Of course, there's downsides to.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the downsides. But one thing I do to alleviate this is to set aside a day in my week and just catch up with my friends, my family, my mom. Most importantly, just talk to her, make sure that everybody's fine, because sometimes when you're traveling, it's so easy to just, forget things and just put some things in the back burner.
Living anywhere. And I would say in Georgia, some of the downsides that come to mind is it's still a developing country. So there's going to be things like your electricity or water shutting off a little bit more than other locations. Now, this isn't happening every day, but it does happen a couple times a year. I'm definitely happier living.
So that's something that you will encounter here, especially you need to understand that this place is not that developed. It's still developing countries, but you will find that sometimes your water, sometimes your water, your light, some things might get shut down or some things might just not work, for a whole day. But you have to keep in mind that these are some of the challenges here. But if you're in a nicer apartment, you're paying, a decent amount of money for your apartment, this shouldn't be a problem at all. But if you are trying to, pinch pennies or something like that, you might encounter something like this.
In Tbilisi than I would be living anywhere else in the world. Georgia checks every box I'm looking for. I can find everything here. So would I ever live in the United States? I don't want to speak in absolutes. I love America, but as of now, I just enjoy my life overseas a lot.
Well, I think that's about it. This guy's doing everything by the book, is the kind of nomad that everyone aspires to be like, including myself. If I can make that much money, I think I would be pretty much happy with my life. And to answer the question, would I ever go back to the US? Absolutely. I still will live in the US, but for this moment in time, for this period of my life, like him, I don't want to speak in absolute, so I'm just going to say that I'm still enjoying life, still traveling and exploring as much as I can. And if that's something that you have in mind, please do it. There's no time to waste at all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, check out the link down below. If you want to listen to my podcast where I talk to entrepreneurs like this guy and just talk about building businesses while traveling and just want to get inspired, check out the podcast in the link in description. And I'll speak to you in the next video. Take care now. Bye.